Hi, welcome back to the channel. In this short video, we're going to cover the Mineshaft once again, as an unusual crystal skull was located within. Now, credit to Atari, make sure to check her video out if you haven't yet, as she was one of the first ones to cover it on YouTube, and credit to Jeff Clark, who was the original one to record it via pictures when visiting there back in 2017. I'm going to have a quick look at it now, try and use some other different filters, and then just give my overall opinion on what it actually is and why is it there. So this is the key photo which highlights the supposed crystal skull. Now, I don't know where exactly in the Mineshaft it was taken. I'm sure Jeff Clark will be able to answer that, whether it was towards the bottom, the midsection, a side ledge, who knows. But if we zoom in, from the looks of it, there seems to be some kind of crystal amethyst skull. The question would be, why is it there? What is it doing there? Some people may argue it might be just the lighting, the reflection, and it's just natural resources, rock and stuff. And other people believe, especially on some of the forums elsewhere, believe it is to be of a skull because of the shaping of it. If we look at a more enhanced picture I did edit, it might show a bit better. So yeah, there is definitely some kind of shine on this supposed skull. You can see like reflection or something of light maybe hitting and bouncing off it. There is a bit of purple colour towards the bottom of the object. Maybe that's the amethyst. And then towards the top is maybe just rock, because it matches in colour with the rock around, like that. But the shaping of it is interesting because, you know, there seems to be some kind of roundness to it on top, like the top of the head. You can see some kind of like sunken eyes as well as some kind of nose profile. And then the purple bit is, it seems to be some kind of like jaw and teeth. So it does seem to stand out as a skull. This is another version of it to make it all the same colour. So it's all grey, as you can see. And it's just trying to pick out, does it now look like a rock or does it still look like a skull? That's up for you to leave a comment down below. For me, yeah, I can still see the eyes and I can kind of see the teeth. One thing I do want to consider is last time in the past on Really Robin's hike, one of the shallow caves had some kind of rock structure, and within the dark part there was a rock sticking out, and it looked to be of some kind of demonic face, as you can see on screen. And I pinpointed it all, saying that looks like a nose, lips, eyes, horns, neck. But it was only just rock at the end of the day, and Really Robin at the time confirmed that because he did inspect it, and it turned out to be nothing. So that's why I'm being cautious, I guess you could call it. But if we do like a little comparison between the two, you know, this on the right hand side is of a skull from online, and then the one on the left is, you know, the photo itself from Jeff Clark. And they do share some kind of resemblance in terms of the way it's angled, the way it's looking, similarities with the sunken eyes, the roundness of the top of the skull, as well as the teeth. So yeah, there's definitely similarity. The next question would be, what type of skull? Why is it there? And is there a meaning behind that? Now, if it is in fact a crystal skull, the meaning behind that is to do with different cultures using it as access to other dimensions of their mind. By doing this, it is believed that you can see the connections between your being and the things around you. So, in general, it's to do with spirituality, spiritual stuff. Does that have any link to Kenny? Well, it does in some way, because Kenny Veach, from his comments and other comments available on YouTube, which you can see via Atari's videos about that stuff, Kenny Veach did talk about spirituality and stuff, as you can see on screen right now, one of his posts on Facebook back in 2011 about manifesting, why we're on this planet, different forms, our true perfect form, reaching that level. So there seems to be, you know, some kind of connection. And additionally, Kenny Veach was at the Mineshaft at some point on his final hike, from the looks of it at least, due to items being left behind nearby. Now we need to move on to the question, why is this supposed skull in that place? So it is odd that a supposed skull is located somewhere like there within the mineshaft. The question is, who would have placed it there? Was it a worker who mined in that area way back in the past? Or was it a recent visitor that decided to leave it there as some kind of shrine in remembrance to Kenny Veach, maybe? I know one hiker, Jay Silverheels or so, who did in fact hike there and still has done hikes recently, did leave some loose change, a beer or something, in remembrance of Kenny Veach or something. So maybe there was somebody else at some point that visited the mineshaft and dropped it in. But it's a little bit weird why that skull is there. You know, at the end of the day, if it is just bad lighting or some kind of reflection and it just so happens to be a rock in a shape of a skull, like in Really Robin's video, then it would make more sense where it's located. Mainly because it's a mine. People mined there in the past for rocks, resources, crystals. And if that's amethyst, a crystal, then it makes sense to why it's there. But you can't help but say it does look like a skull. And the mystery itself, as well as all the other bits and bobs along the way, you know, it does make things more interesting, if you put it that way. So, at the end of the day, in conclusion, it might just so happen to be a rock or some kind of crystal in the shape of a skull, in which it would make sense to why it's located down there, and it just so happens to be a coincidence that it's in the shape of a skull, and that's where Kenny was supposedly last seen. One thing we can conclude on as a fact is that that skull is quite small, so it can't be Kenny's skull. It just can't. Not even a human skull. It's too small. So that's one thing for certain. But, you know, if someone was to go back and have a look and find it, and in fact it turned out to be a decorative skull, we'd need to know who placed it there and why did they place it there. Was it some kind of hint? Is it some kind of calling card? What maybe certain killers may do when they leave items behind to taunt people? I don't know. And does it have any link whatsoever to the desert surrounding landscape where odd things have shown up? Skulls have been placed high above on rocks which animals may not have been able to reach. Stuff like that. There may be a link. But this was just a small additional observation and me giving my opinion of it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to check out Atari's channel as well. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.